clear, cool night here in West Yorkshire, and this is the way the Rhinos will line up, and some significant changes. Webb is the fullback, then Lee Smith makes his return to the Rhinos. He only signed from London Wasps yesterday. He'll partner the man who's brought in to replace him, Brett Delaney, Keith Senior and Ryan Hall, Danny Maguire and Rob Burrow. The forwards, Kylie Luluai, Matt Diskin and Ryan Bailey, Jamie Jones-Buchanan and Ian Kirk, and Kevin Sinfield, the captain, makes his first appearance since the World Club Challenge 4 weeks ago. It means that on the bench, Danny Badiras, Ali Lauatiti, Luke Burgess and Luke Ambler, who impressed last week on his debut, are waiting for the nod from Brian McLennan. Now the Bradford Bulls. Brett Carney is at fullback. Dave Halley returns to the side. Michael Platt and Chris Nero in the centres. Stuart Reardon on the wing. Paul Sykes at stand-off alongside Matt Orford. Forwards, Nick Scruton, Heath Lestrange and Andy Lynch, who captains them. Elliot Whitehead, Jamie Langley and Steve Menzies is the loose forward. And the substitutes bench here occupied by Glenn Hall. Remember his last-minute winner that won the match against Wigan. Wayne Godwin, Craig Kopjak and James Donaldson, and coach Steve McNamara. So the Bradford Bulls, meetings with Leeds, the highlight of their Easter programme. Each club has won 4 titles in the summer era. They've appeared in 6 grand finals, including 2 head-to-heads. And Andy Lynch waiting to come out for this massive match against the Leeds Rhinos, described in some quarters as the greatest rugby league derby of them all. Yet this year these two clubs have never met, with both of them standing as low in that table. Leeds here, they're 9th, Bradford are 8th. Now the odds on the Rhinos being outside the 8 with a quarter of the season gone would have been massive. Therefore, they both might be hungrier than ever, and it's a at Headingley again to watch this. Leeds have lost their last 3, their worst sequence for 4 years, and they haven't won back-to-back games all year. They come out side by side. Bradford won 4 of the first 8, 3 coming in successive weeks against Castleford, Salford and Wigan. But they have lost 3 of their 4 away games. The solitary success was a 7-0 win against the Salford City Reds. Always a great way to start the Easter programme. The two sides are lining up because before we get going, the Leeds Rhinos have joined forces with the Royal Marines and the Parachute Regiment tonight to celebrate the efforts of the brave men and women who are serving their country overseas, and to help raise funds for their respective charities. Now, there was due to be a Trafalgar Cup clash between the two regiments. It should have been played here today. It was actually played up the road at Leeds Rugby Union. Because of the state of the pitch, it had to be switched. But the two sides and the crowd will observe a minute's silence here in recognition and remembrance of all the service personnel who are serving their country overseas. Before that, though, there will be the last post that will be sounded by Dave Burt, the bugler of the Royal Marines. So a fairly poignant moment before we get this game underway here at the Headingley ground. They will observe the minute's silence, and you can hear, as the PA announcer lets the crowd know that, the reaction that it gets inside this ground.
And remembrance of all service personnel who perform their duties selflessly for their countries. Would you please be upstanding?
First, the last post. minute silence in recognition and remembrance of all service personnel. And a minute like that makes you realise just how lucky we are to be here on a night like this, to watch a game like this. Phil Bentham is the big match referee, and they don't come any bigger than this in this part of the world. The supporters of Hull KR and Hull, St Helens and Wigan, even Wakefield and Castleford might argue, but there are people who think that this is the ultimate Super League derby. They certainly usually set the marker for what's to come, and let's hope they do as Kevin Sinfield gets this game underway.
And what a key player Kevin Sinfield will play tonight. They certainly have missed him, the Rhinos. His kicking ability, only just one facet of the Leeds outfit. But Bradford, they will not be easy. They really will want to try to get the forward power, get over the advantage, give a platform for the likes of Paul Sykes and Matt Orford, who will be both halfbacks tonight. Interesting to see whether Steve McNamara perhaps will switch Brett Carney, the man that normally takes the standoff. He's at full back. It wouldn't surprise me if they interchange, especially throughout the first half.
The kick from Heath Lestrange is deep, and Brent Webb just allowed that ball to dribble its way past him. It's a good chase from the Bradford Bulls early on here. Michael Platt leading the way and bringing the Leeds full-back to the ground. The last meeting at Headingley last June, there were 18,000 here to see Leeds win 33-20. There wasn't a TV camera in sight, and Steve McNamara wished that there had been, because he was convinced a Ricky Sharif try should have been given in the 76th minute when Leeds were ahead by 26-22. But they weren't here, we weren't here, and Leeds prevailed. It's Ian Kirk on the ball for the Rhinos.
Pretty solid defence though by the Bulls. They really know that the opening 10 minutes they can lay down the marker. They've got to try to control the game. Good kick and chase, they put Barrow under pressure.
And the ball standing up nicely for Dave Halley. Carney was on his outside, but he took the tackle instead from Jamie Jones-Buchanan. There is Orford at dummy half, and here now is Stuart Reardon, who faced Leeds in the grand final for the Bradford Bulls. He's now back following 2 years at Warrington. And this is Steve Menzies.
That's one of the tactics that Steve McNamara, the Bradford coach, will utilise against Leeds. The short blind side. You could see that the big fella, Steve Menzies, wanting the ball. There's nothing better. That's a good opportunity. They've got the overlap.
Oh, and it's a great pass over the shoulder by Whitehead. And he finds Chris Nero, and he is grounded by the tackle from Kevin Sinfield. Little interference there as he tried to play the ball quickly. It's a penalty to Bradford. I spoke to Steve McNamara yesterday. He said his players and he himself looking forward to this.
Good referee, Phil Bentham. Laid down the marker. I will not mess around. We've come here to watch a brilliant game, and so it should be. But that was pretty nifty work by the Bulls. Getting the ball out wide, they caught that lead sliding defence slightly there.
This is Andy Lynch, and he gets the ball out the back, and it comes eventually to Paul Sykes. He pops it up to Langley. There was space ahead of Langley, went straight at Brent Webb, and it needed a tackle from Webb and Diskin to bring him down. Lestrange is a dummy half. He fires the pass to Orford. Orford then short ball. Nero! Nero with a try for Bradford. Bradford Bulls get the first points of the ball. Looking forward to it, he said, and no wonder. Nero with a try. 24th consecutive appearance for this fellow. Third season at Bradford, having left Huddersfield at the end of 2007. And the man who got 2 tries for Huddersfield in the 2006 Challenge Cup semi-final win against Leeds has struck the early blow for the Bulls.
Tremendous work. They got him on the outside. They got the penalty. Sinfield holding down from this position. It was built up there by Jamie Langley, and then the offload, and the big fella Nero in the centre says thank you very much indeed. Beautiful time pass by Matt Orford, but that's the way to come onto a rugby league football. At the precise moment, there was no chance for the Leeds defence. They were all off balance, quick play the ball, but the build-up by Jamie Langley was nothing short of superb.
First try of the season for Chris Nero. and a timely first try of the season. It silenced the vast majority of this crowd inside Headingley. Not the Bradford fans behind the post away to our left. And Matt Orford now with the opportunity to add the extras. This should be 6-0 to the Bulls. And it is. Great start for Bradford.
Super stuff. And you can see Delaney's just looking out. That's enough. Come on the angle. Thank you very much indeed. Delaney could not get through in time, and neither could the loose forward Kevin Sinfield. They were both off balance, and Nero in for the first try. Boy, hasn't that set it up.
Dream start for Bradford.
You can tell when a team are up for a match from the very kick-off. The first set that Bradford had possession, Andy Lynch carried the ball and made 5 or 10 metres with 3 defenders on his back. You know, him and Scruton have to set the platform for the Bulls, who go into this clearly as the underdogs, but with something to prove.
It's Nick Scruton who's on the ball, a former Leeds Rhino, making his 50th appearance for the Bradford club tonight. And that's really the reason why he left Leeds. He was seen mainly as a substitute here, but he's a frontline prop forward for the Bradford Bulls.
Well, the Bulls not frightened, Eddie, to give this ball plenty of air. They're going out wide. Oh, it did well to keep hold of that.
Yes, he did. It was Carney. And here is Andy Lynch now, the Bradford skipper. He is leading by example as captain this year. It's the last tackle here, though, for Bradford. And what's the kick like from Sykes? Will he go for a 40-20? No, he's gone more down the middle of the ground. And it bounces into the arms of Brent Webb. And he gives it to Lee Smith. First touch for Lee Smith. He was only signed yesterday from London Wasps, back in Rugby League, back in the Super League, and back with the Rhinos.
And I think you'll be saying thank goodness for that, though it was a pretty good reception, that silly play. Just over enthusiastic, had to play the ball, and they know it. They've given away many, many metres forward. You just can't keep pushing over like that. And Scruton, much to the chagrin of Phil Bentham, the official tonight, but the ability for the Bulls to keep this ball out wide, and they're going at Leeds on that right-hand defensive pattern. They obviously feel there's a bit of a problem with Brett Delaney in defence.
This is Matt Diskin, preferred in the starting lineup, of course, from Danny Badiris, the Australian former international, who's on the bench. Here is Kylie Luluai, who had his birthday on Monday. He's now 32, and he makes a timely return to the side with Jamie Peacock out. And this is Webb, who's chimed into the line. Good tackle by Menzies.
Nice to see as well, Webb. He's taken a while to get back in after that injury.
This is Maguire, fires it wide, and Delaney is clobbered by Reardon. Maguire.
Pretty high as well.
And the referee called on Stuart Reardon. He was not standing square at the play of the ball. He called him twice, told him not to get involved. He did, and the penalty's forthcoming to Leeds.
Well, he took one side and then went to the left.
Here goes Bailey then for the Leeds Rhinos. Clear to play after having a date with the disciplinary committee this week. Just fined, no suspension. It's Webb for Leeds, running laterally, then flicks it back to Ian Kirk.
Robbie Burrows looking for an inside runner here, perhaps. He's got Luluai outside.
Here is Burrow, and he gives it to Luluai. And offside against Bradford, even though Luluai lost the ball.
Golden opportunity as well, because Luluai, if he'd have taken that, he'd gone straight through. He came on the angle, and I reckon he would have pile-drived underneath the sticks.
Webb gives it to Jamie Jones-Buchanan, left thigh heavily strapped. That's how close Leeds Rhinos are. It's Burrow, they've shot out the line quickly, they find Sinfield, short pass to Kirk, and Kirk under pressure puts it down. Here goes Carney, and that's a penalty against Kylie Luluai and Ryan Bailey for the high shot.
Well, that's the reason why Steve McNamara, the Bradford coach, has dropped Brett Carney down to the full-back position, because he knows he's got the ability, he's got great speed, very agile indeed.
Bailey conceding the penalty. It was a high shot. His tackle on Stuart Fielden last week resulted in the £300 fine. So Bradford have the ball back, and they lead by 6 points to 0 after the opening 9 minutes here. Heath Lestrange waits, and he'll give it then to Matt Orford. And Orford looks really up for this. 2 years ago he won the Dally M, the Player of the Year award in the NRL, and he's got the penalty here from Phil Bentham.
And it had to be as well. Lulawai all over the place, not allowing Orford any chance to get up. That's the second silly penalty given away. Remember, Kevin Sinfield did one, and they came up trumps with a try for Nero. They're up for this to the Bulls. They really are buzzing.
It's Orford again, and here is Scruton. And he goes down under the challenge of 3 players. The referee, Phil Bentham, shouts at Leeds to move. They do. Heath Lestrange gets the ball away to Whitehead. Desperate tackle, low down that was, and it had to be as well. Now it's Lynch. Great pass off the ground, finds Sykes. Sykes gives it to Langley again. Langley running at Webb strongly. They can't hold Langley at the moment. He'll get up and play the ball, and they'll give it to Orford, and back it comes to Sykes, and over the top it goes, and Halley will jink his way over. Second Bradford try. Tremendous start this from the Redford Bulls. Champions rocking on the ropes here. We've got Hay and Ruiz tomorrow for the World Heavyweight Championship. And the champions of Super League are struggling in the opening 10 minutes of this heavyweight clash at Headingley.
It's been a whirlwind start, and again, it was that man Langley that got them in a position. What about the overhead pass there? Was absolutely sensational. They move in, and Sykes got right over the top, and what about the step off the right boot? Oh, Ryan Hall, he's left in no man's land. It looks as though he's got away with it, and they were very slow to fill in. How close to the touchline? Oh, look at that, an inch, if that. Look at the concentration on the touch judge on this side as well. Well, we mentioned that the Bulls had to get up to a flying start. They had to put down the gauntlet. Boy, they've got the sword out, they give it heaps.
Well, it's taken the prospect of a local derby and almost 10 matches for Bradford to find their timing and execution in their attacking plays. Earlier in the season, had players overrunning the ball, some players bumping into their own attackers, but now they've started to find some cohesion and some unity, and the timing of their attack out wide is excellent.
Well, the second phase running on this, and look how close, but look at the touch judge. That's what we like to see. Oh, look at that. Talk about camera work. You can count the studs. Marks, that is.
Leeds restart, trailing by 10 points to 0 in 12 minutes of this match at Headingley. Nick Scruton with the drive forward.
And hold.
Well, Leeds beginning the match outside the top 8, and the way Bradford are playing, they're going to stay there.
And they can only have themselves to blame in the fact that they're giving away silly penalties and have allowed Bradford to gain the superiority over this Rhino side, who must be thinking, what on earth can we do? Basically, they've got to get back and just take it nice and steady. Good solid defence. A few of them are coming out of the line. You could see there that Ryan Hall, he got confused. Lack of communication with his centre partner.
Orford again with the kick.
Split
kick too. Splits the defenders, Smith and Webb. Bounces for Lee Smith. Lee Smith back in the Leeds colours. His last appearance was, of course, in the grand final, the end of last season.
That's 3 times now that Bradford have kicked to gain territory. On every one occasion, they've managed to get the ball to sit just short of the try line, and they're camping their opponents down there. They're making them come from deep. That has to be a positive aspect in which Bradford have improved in some games we've seen this year.
Well, Bradford were less than emphatic in seeing off Harlequins last Friday. 19-12 it was, but it was their first win in 3 games, and it sets them up nicely for this against the Leeds Rhinos. And I think this is a faulty play, the ball.
It is by Bailey. It's going from bad to worse. Played it forward, not allowed to do that anymore.
At least it caught his foot, but it went the wrong way.
Yeah, and I did look. I know people complain about it, but this Leeds outfit, they've got to start again. just say, calm it down. They're panicking. They wanted to do everything at 100 miles an hour.
Sykes, good ball. It was a flat ball as well. Nero on it for the Bradford Bulls, disappears under the challenge of Delaney and also Maguire. Here is Andy Lynch, bounces off one tackle, gets the pass away. Oh, and well claimed there by Diskin off Heath Lestrange, one-on-one, a ball steal.
Boy, did they need that. They really needed something to lift their spirits. Now, this is where they roll. This is a steal by Diskin, great work. This is where the big fellas come in. Must get over the advantage line. Great work from that fella, Matt Diskin, in his testimonial year.
Yes, Diskin is never present in the side. This is his 6th start. And Sinfield bounces off one, and then just hands it on the plate to Burrow. And Burrow looks for the runners inside him, and Brent Webb puts it down again. Great pressure from Bradford.
Certainly was. Elliot Whitehead, the second rower. He sensed it. Bang, come to daddy. Boom.
Growing in confidence, Elliot Whitehead, isn't he? There's Brent Webb, who dropped the pass. Elliot Whitehead, just 20 years of age, a former electrician. He quit his job to sign a 2-year deal with the Bradford Bulls. Second rower, and well, a great future if what we've seen this season is anything to go by. Here's Sykes. He looks full of it as well.
And I mentioned before the game started, you know, Paul Sykes, when they're switching from centre to play in the standoff position, he seems to revel in it. He seems to love it. Takes them on. He's got more opportunity. He's a bustling type of player. He wants to be in the action all the time. And when at number 6, he'll get plenty of opportunity. Oh, Lynch, get out of the way.
Great barging, barnstorming run from Lynch. And Bradford Bulls supporters will remember that when Paul Sykes moved to stand off at the back end of last season, Bradford had their run that almost took them to the playoffs. Here is Langley.
He's a man that Leeds have to stop. It was his 2 charges that got them in a position to score those first 2 tries. That's a great kick as well.
It's a great kick, well picked up though by Ryan Hall. He can't get away from those 3 chasers though.
Did well stay in the field of play. Now this is where the pressure. Burrow again, it's 100 mile an hour. Just calm it, fellas. This is where Jamie Jones Buchanan, go on your own, don't pass. Oh.
Well, they're passing the ball in front of their own post. This is Keith Senior, captain against Wigan last Friday. He hasn't scored here against the Bradford Bulls for 5 years. Keith Senior. And Ian Kirk will get to his feet and play it to Diskin. Diskin then finds Sinfield. Lestrange was on him in a flash. That's the last tackle. Great set of 6 from Bradford here. And it's with Burrow now, and he'll hammer it downfield, trying to get it over the head of Carney, but failing. And Carney then gives it to Dave Halley.
And just look where they'll be playing the first play the ball. Nearly on the halfway line. That's how constructive Bradford's defence have been. They've been getting into the ribs. They really have been banging them down. They're controlling this game.
Orford gets it wide to Michael Platt. That's good defence from Hall and from Senior. And also from Rob Burrow. Orford, Langley now.
Listen, when you see the skill and style of Matt Orford jumping in at the dummy half position, and he's done that quite a few times so far in the opening 17 minutes, it means that he wants to control it. He wants to look after everything out there. Such a talented player, former Manly Warringah.
It's been an outstanding start to the game from Bradford. I can't really remember a single error, and that's a towering kick from Sykes. And he did well, Brent Webb. He is one of the best in the world, and he begins the Leeds counter. But they harass him to the ground quickly. Heath Lestrange and Jamie Langley there. Now it's Senior. He'll run strongly, but he's brought down again. But they're offside, Bradford.
Just overstepped the mark. Phil Bentham was screaming at them to come back to 10. Couple didn't. They paid the price.
Well, the first signs of fatigue for Bradford, Eddie. They've given it everything they've got for 18 minutes. But when that kick went high to Brent Webb, none of the players in the middle had enough energy to firstly get up on Webb or close down the space, and they showed the Leeds side are a champion team because they can withstand this type of onslaught and pressure and then counter-attack effectively.
They trail though 10-0, but they're on the attack now here. And this is Luke Ambler. He impressed on his debut last week. He retains his place in the 17. Diskin to Maguire. Danny Maguire relishes these occasions when he takes on the Bradford Bulls. Diskin gives it to Ryan Bailey. Bailey tried to outmuscle him up the middle, gets the ball away to Diskin. Diskin then to Burrow, steps away from Orford. Can't get away from the next man in though. Menzies cuts him down with the tackle. It's Diskin. Diskin to Sinfield. Sinfield with a raking pass wide, and he finds Delaney. But the Bradford defence stand up to him and bring him down on the last. Lee Smith into the dummy half this time. Now it's with Maguire. Maguire dinks it to the in-goal area. That's too deep. And Bradford come away. Their line intact.
Well, the idea was good, but he was going on his own, when perhaps it may have been better served just to make sure that it went for the post, could ricochet either way. It was something that Brian McLennan, the Rhinos coach, needed. They needed to camp down there.
Reardon plays the ball. Delaney could have been penalised for standing in the ruck, then interfering at the play of the ball.
There's a little bit of a fumble as well, and that was good refereeing by Phil Bentham.
Midway through this first half then, Bradford in the ascendancy, leading by 10 points to 0. The champions in this worst run of form for 4 years, looking desperately to get their season back on track against their closest and biggest rivals in the Engage Super League.
This might get some height on it.
It's Orford. And up it goes, sliced, and Webb again positions himself brilliantly, doesn't he?
What the worry is, though, if there are large spaces between your defenders when Webb catches the ball, it's danger time. Here now there's a penalty going against Bradford.
No, it's a penalty against Leeds for an incorrect play of the ball, I think.
Well, he wanted, I keep mentioning this word panic. Why on earth would you want to try to do that? The rules state and the law states that you have to regain your feet, then place the ball, not the other way around. Brian McLennan may be furious about this, but the official has got it absolutely spot on.
But the rules also do state you must release the man when he's tackled, so I think his counter-argument to you, Mike, would be that the tackle was completed, and is it Menzies doesn't release him, still holding on to his hips?
But even so, he's got enough experience as Brent Webb not to place the ball on the ground like that. Maybe he was trying to milk the penalty, I don't know, but you play safety first. Rushing down there, they're sort of 10 points adrift, and you're saying to yourself, hang on, why on earth are we going at 100 mile an hour when we've had no possession, no field position?
Well, Leeds might dispute the penalty, and Bradford might have got away with it, but it mirrors exactly what he's saying, Phil. They're trying to do everything at just breakneck speed, Leeds. They've got to calm themselves down.
I don't want them to calm down. I love it when we come here and they score length of the field tries, and it's the speed which excites so many of the supporters and so many of the viewers who follow this game. The speed with which Leeds and the other sides want to play the game is what makes it so attractive.
Well, it's 12-0 to the Bradford Bulls. And Bradford supporters won't be complaining about a scoreline like that and the way this game has started. It's a tremendous start to the Easter programme for the Bradford Bulls. And a tremendous start for us on Sky Sports. We've got this today, we've got 2 tomorrow, Hull KR and Hull at lunchtime, followed quickly by Leeds, St Helens and Wigan. And then on Monday we're off to the south of France to see how the Catalan Dragons and the champions do again. Will that be a day of crisis for Leeds in the south of France? We'll have to wait and see.
A long way to go in this game yet. And I suppose
signs aren't good.
No, they're not good, but Brian McLennan is a shrewd coach. He should be getting that message down. Let's just get that defence solid again. Don't get too excited.
It's Langley here. 23 minutes coming up on the clock.
Oh, that was forward.
Well, the South Stand believed it was, but the referee and touch judge disagree.
Well, it was a delayed pass by Heath Lestrange.
Here is Glenn Hall. He really was the hero with that last-minute try, wasn't he, against Wigan, that won the match after that dramatic second half at Odsal a couple of 3 weeks ago. Sykes with the kick. It's a good kick too, because that will find the ground. Just gives Bradford a second or two more to come up like that.
Oh, he's lost it!
He's and it's picked up by Lestrange.
Oh, what an header by the full-back.
This is Michael Platt. Well, this is Leeds really under the cosh as Lestrange finds Orford, who finds Menzies. He'll go in. It's the third try for the Bradford Bulls. They're taking Leeds apart. A mistake by the full are stunned, and Steve Menzies, try last week at Harlequins, a try here in the defeat last June, but that's his third touchdown of the season, and Bradford are in total control of this match.
Certainly are, Eddie, and you must say that when you lose a football, sorry, it was Ryan Hall that lost it, not Brent Webb. Either way, Bradford, and it's Orford yet again. I mentioned, if Orford's in the mood, boy, you're going to come up trumps, and he certainly is. Beautiful pass, nothing you can do. Menzies, he makes a habit of doing that. He may be the oldest player in Super League, but he's so fit, and he'll be happy with that. And boy, the Bulls fans behind the sticks at this other end, they can't believe it.
You know, every rugby team wants to have their ball player with a number of running options. That's what, of course, Bradford had there, wasn't it? And you're hoping that your ball players, like Matt Orford, can make the right decision. Pass it to the man who has been released because the defenders have committed to other options. And that's now what Bradford are starting to do as we approach the midpoint of this season or so. Their option runners are creating more chances because Orford and Carney and Sykes are having the ball and have a series of plays that they can hit outside them.
16-0, this kick for 18-0. He's missed it. Not saying 18-0 is an unassailable lead, but it would have been very difficult for the Leeds Rhinos to claw back. It still will be at 16.
And there you can see the problem. You can see Senior's moved in. When you've got three defenders on two, one is a dummy runner, and Menzies is never going to be stopped. So close to the line. Boy, he's the oldest and perhaps the most experienced, but he still knows the way to the try line.
Well, Willie Poaching has just raced from the sideline as Kevin Sinfield was about to take that kick, and he's shouted at Ryan Bailey to come off the field. Luke Burgess has replaced him. Sinfield restarts. Underneath it was Halley, and here come the Bradford Bulls again. Glenn Hall plays the ball. Here is Paul Sykes again. Langley was the dummy runner.
Looking to get away with that. Matt Diskin was hanging on for dear life.
This is Andy Lynch.
Now Leeds' defence so far, after 26 minutes, they have yet to stop Bradford getting over the halfway line. In other words, controlling the kick and chase game.
Wait.
Lestrange again at dummy half for Bradford. Here is Langley.
They've done it this time, for the first time in this first half. Now, kick and chase has to be good.
Wait, hold Leeds. Go 5.
It's with Orford. It's a little dink over the top. It's a perfectly timed run.
Still on 5.
Carney gets the ball away, and that's away as well to Lynch, foot forward.
Forward pass, but only just. Well, we said we were going to get some good excitement and good rugby league football, and this man, Matt Orford, is producing everything out of the box. His normal half-back partner, he's playing full-back tonight, Brett Carney, and they're all over the shop.
Nice variety, Eddie, there. For 26 minutes, they've kicked the ball deep, haven't they, to Leeds? On that occasion, with the Leeds defenders sitting back expecting the long kick, they just put one over the top.
Here is Luke Burgess. Just a reminder that Crusaders against Harlequins tonight has been postponed. The Knoll at Neath, which is where the game was being played, they decided to take the game to South Wales. It's been hosing down there for apparently the last 2 days, and it's flooded, the Knoll, so the game is off. Has to be rearranged later in the season. Won't be played tomorrow.
Hold. Go.
Badiris is on for Leeds. Finds Burrow. Here is Webb. His pass finds Senior. Halley is there and combines to bring Keith Senior down. Jamie Jones Buchanan. Burrow, raking kick out wide. Too deep. Will have to be brought all the way back over this side. Looking for Lee Smith, couldn't find it. Sailed over his head.
Yeah, far too strong. Nothing that Smith could do about that one, but again, it surprised me. We've seen the difference between the two sides already in the kicking game, is that Bradford, they're changing it. Not all just kicking all the time high, sometimes keeping it low, they're confusing everything. But it's in the forwards where you feel that the Bulls are taking control. They really are working overtime.
Godwin, the dummy half there, and he passed the ball infield to his skipper, Andy Lynch. He is grounded 10 metres inside his own half of the field. Godwin again, gives it to Menzies, tries to skip away from Jones Buchanan. He gets the ball away eventually to Langley. And Godwin, weighing up the options both ways, comes this side and finds Orford, who finds Platt, and he goes down on the fourth tackle. Halley again, here's Orford. Now infield it goes to Glenn Hall. Trying to spin and does, gets it away to Carney. They've got men. Oh! Knock on by Maguire.
It's a good job that Maguire got a fingertip to that.
Well, they had a 4-on-1 overlap wide.
They certainly did, and he took a huge gamble. Okay, it didn't slip back into his body and race away, which would have been enough. It would have been a try, that's for sure. But the most important factor, he knew that they didn't have numbers out wide. And again, Bradford attacking out on their left-hand side in attack, Leeds right in defence.
There's been a great balance about Bradford's performance in the first half. A nice mixture, nice variety. Is that scrum play? They're doing Nero's through.
Great pass from Menzies on the inside to Nero. And it needed a good tackle that came in from Webb, or to knock on. Well, Webb was lying in the ruck. He was loitering with intent. I think he's got away with this, you know.
Well, it looks that way, doesn't it? It's the fact that he's still hanging on, is released there, but I'm with you, Eddie. Sometimes it states that you're going to, but look at the inside pass.
Shifting the defenders to one side, and then if your timing is right, you're through the gap. It's just about pulled down, but Bradford looked by far the more dangerous team. A great 30 minutes from them.
It has been outstanding half hour. They had a 40-minute purple patch against the Wigan Warriors at Odsal when they came from 20-0 down at half-time to win the game 22-20. But this has been as good as that, if not better, at the home of the champions. As Senior is bundled up in the air and dragged to the side. Shakes his head at the referee. Oh, Jamie Jones Buchanan's gone without it. I'm sorry, but Leeds Rhinos are none of the races.
Yeah, but a finger time, I'm afraid. Just could not drag it in.
They're like a
criticise the
car
pass.
that's not going.
You know what, at this level and the detail that both coaching staffs go into, when they analyse that pass again, Eddie, I think that they would probably mark Brent Webb down for it. The service and the quality, the accuracy, it's the little things, the ball being exactly where you need it to be at that level.
If Leeds lose this tonight, of course, there'll be a 4-point gap between them and Bradford. At this, well, we're about a third of the way through the season, aren't we? In fact, we're exactly a third of the way through the season after this. This is the 9th round, and this is great hands from Bradford. It's Nero, he's getting shuttled towards the sideline. There's Carney, here is Glenn Hall. Bradford full of it, absolutely full of it.
Oh, he's got rid of it. That should be a penalty.
It is a penalty. The referee's whistle sounds. He called hell.
He said he didn't hear it, but you can see that, well, the ball carrying arm had not hit the deck. Is, you know, Glenn Hall has every right to look at the official and say, well, hang on.
Yeah, but the referee called hell, Steve-O. He decided that the tackle was completed.
Well, he shouldn't have, because he hadn't hit the deck. The ball carrying arm had not done that. Now then.
He was making no progress forward, was he? He'd been stopped.
They need something special here. Now, we mentioned the fact Maguire and Burrow, they always play well, or seem to play well against Bradford. They've got to really come up with something now. They've got to pose the question.
But look at the way that the game's been played. It's been virtually all in the Leeds half. They're in Bradford's half now, with Webb, who fires the pass wide to Ryan Hall. He slips the net of Halley. They're trying desperately to get him down, and they do, courtesy of Michael Platt. Senior, the dummy half, gets it away to Webb. Webb then fires the pass to Sinfield. Now there's blue shirts out wide, there's 4 of them. Maguire out wide to Lee Smith. He's back. Lee Smith is back in Super League, and Leeds might be back in this match. What a way to crown your second debut, with a try in the corner against the arch rivals. The prodigal son has returned. 2 first-team games with Wasps. His Leeds debut 5 years ago this Easter. His last appearance, 2 tries in the grand final, and an important try for the champions here.
Beautiful, quick hands. from Maguire is sensational. Reardon just came in a touch too early. This is the penalty that was given. The referee, Phil Benton, had called hell, and from that position, but watch the pass from Maguire. Bang! Reardon has just drifted in, and as Eddie said, Lee Smith is back, and boy, did the Rhinos need that.
Well, he struggled to make a mark in the other code, but he has certainly made his mark and will continue to make his mark in this game. Well, if Lee Smith is back, is Kevin Sinfield back with the kicking? Difficult conversion attempt for Sinfield, but he's kicked it. Leeds 6, Bradford 16. Willie Poaching shuddering in the ear of the captain, obviously carrying a message from the coach.
There you see Reardon, he's just drifted in a little bit too early, and it's gone out wide. Maguire's pass, and it's a great finish. Now then, the referee has just said, well, you can't see it there, but it hasn't hit the deck as far as I'm concerned. And I'm not so sure whether I heard Phil Bentham. Either way,
He did shout hell, there's no question of that.
He
what was impressive,
complaining.
If we take something to forget the referee's decision, Leeds' ability to make a break down the left-hand side. Ryan Hall went close with a great tackle and then transfer the ball across. That's why the champions are so well loved, because when the weather's good, the pitch is firm, they've got the skill and the speed to entertain.
Yes, this pitch at Headingley has been much maligned this year, but there are signs tonight that it's getting back to a little bit of firmness underfoot, and here goes Lautiti. Oh, well, that's a penalty. What on earth did he do that for? He was grounded, he bounced, he got up, and he's given the penalty away to the Bradford Bulls.
Well, it's all happening here, isn't it? I mean, that was a beautiful fend to start with, but Menzies got back on the second, and the player's already tackled.
Actually, was he held or wasn't he held?
I'm not so sure, you know. It's a split-second decision. Either way, well, it's going from bad to worse for Leeds, and then all of a sudden they get the rub of the green. I don't think he had him. I think this should have been play on.
Well, that may be a mistake from Phil Bentham. Can Bradford capitalise on it? They're very close with Godwin to Carney. He flicks it then and gives it to Lynch, who bounces one out of the way. That's a loose pass. But they're lucky they get away with it, Bradford.
Move! Back up, Brett!
Sinfield trying to get out of the way. The ball is played. Here is Godwin. Godwin is halted by Burgess, by Jones Buchanan.
Matt Orford is screaming, he's pointing. He's trying to confuse the defence.
It's Lynch again. Lynch, oh, he's gone without it.
That's one-on-one.
Yes, it's one-on-one, but he's given a knock on, and he's given it against Leeds.
Has he dragged it forward? Yes, he has. Just because he's got his back to the opposition, that's still a knock on. Well, he's not having much luck, is he, Mr. Lautiti?
Well, this should be fun here now. Can they get the ball to Carney? Sykes linking up with him. Perhaps get on the outside of Delaney.
Wait.
The ball's in and is out. And here is Sykes. He nearly cut inside Sinfield. Then he gets the pass away instead to Whitehead. Oh, Maguire was just hanging around for a moment then. Delaney to the rescue. Here is Godwin. Huge pressure on this Leeds line. Carney drives it in.
Now, will we see a dummy here from Matt Orford? He's been quite happy just to pull the defence and send a long ball out wide. Will he go on his own?
There is Orford. Fires it wide to Platt. Oh, Hall has missed him, and Platt gets to within a metre.
That's a danger when you come out of the line, and Ryan Hall did that.
Godwin fires the pass to Orford, changes the direction, cut down by a big tackle from Burgess. Godwin again, attacking the line himself, takes tackle number 5. Godwin wants to get on with it quickly, plays the ball to Langley. Langley then back to Sykes. Sykes will hoist it wide, 3 against 1 out there. Too long. Poor kick.
Tremendous build-up, though. Sadly, it wasn't the best kick from Paul Sykes.
Hold.
Well, Steve McNamara he's been a confused coach this year. They've been up and down, haven't they, the Bulls?
Wait, Bradford, wait.
They've played some delightful stuff, and then the following week they're just dropping a hole. Well, they're not tonight. They're playing as a unit. The forwards are going strong. They'll be happy with the scoreline. Of course he would. 16-6.
But Leeds looking to get back even closer at half-time as they keep the ball alive. It's with Maguire. He's cut down first by the tackle from Godwin, then by Glenn Hall. Here now is Sinfield. Short ball to Lulawai. 4 tackles gone. Not the best play, the ball then, and the referee thought about blowing the penalty. Again. Went backwards, Ryan Hall gets away with it, but they've lost a bit of momentum, Leeds, because that's the last tackle. Here is Rob Burrow, gives it to Ali Lautiti, and Maguire will hoist it, but it's a bit too long, a bit too much ahead of everybody. Carney picks it up out of the air for Bradford. And he's hurt, I think. He is hurt there, Carney. Took a real collision with Maguire then. Boom.
Well, I think Leeds have been disappointed with the quality of the kick. It was a non-threatening one, but Maguire made sure he paid for it. Got the shoulder in there. I think a fair shoulder charge, nothing illegal. It's certainly a painful experience for Brett Carney. And I think Leeds will be happy at it. You know, of the last 10 minutes, they have been the best team. They're behind on the scoreline, but I think they'll go bounce into the dressing room at half-time in a positive frame of mind, confident of the fact that they can get better, they will get better, and they are certainly the stronger team now as we approach the hooter.
And once again, you have to compliment the players of this game. Carney then got a real hit from Danny Maguire, but he managed to hold on to the ball. Burgess is told to move by the referee. He does. Godwin, and now Langley. Less than 15 seconds to half-time. 4 tackles gone. Bradford. Will it be a kick and chase? There are 3 men back. Lynch. That's the last, and they won't have time to take the last tackle. Well, Paul Sykes and the Bradford Bulls, for 25 minutes or so, ran the Leeds Rhinos absolutely ragged. 3 tries they scored, Nero, Halley and Menzies. They were 16-0 up before Leeds had got themselves together. Then Lee Smith's try in his comeback match and Sinfield's goal off the touchline gives us this scoreline of 16-6 to the Bulls at half-time. Leeds 6. Bradford 16 at half-time here at the home of the champions, who I must say in 2010 are wobbling a bit. It's the worst run for 4 years for the champions. They haven't really got going yet. Their coach is Ryan McLennan, but he's a calm, cool, collected individual, and just making a couple of points that he hopes will turn things around in the second half. For Bradford, outstanding. An outstanding opening 25 minutes for them. Like Warrington, Steve McNamara has used the bare minimum of players, only 20 in the first 8 rounds, and a largely settled side. He's kept faith with them, they've kept faith with him, they've been injury-free, and he's just said, go out there and do what you do best. And boy, Steve-O, for the opening half hour, they were brilliant.
Certainly were. They had all the ideas, but the power in the forwards. A good run from Langley put them in a position. Beautiful offload by Orford. Nero straight in. He came in on the angle. And then it was Langley again that got him into this position. And Orford is running riot. Out wide. Look at this, Halley. What a step there. Went so close to the whitewash. That made it 10-0. And then Ryan Hall, he loses a ball. And from this position, Menzies strolls in. And who's involved yet again? His name is Orford. They've combined many times in Australia to do that. Then the chip over the top. It just shows you the dominance that Bradford have shown in the opening 40 minutes. They have not been shy in trying something different. And it was this that they got penalised. Hall didn't know that the referee had shouted, obviously, and it got Leeds into a position. It was a great try, though. Combination. Look at this. Sinfield, Maguire, and you could just see they just came off, and it was enough for Smith to get in. He's back.
Yes, he is. He is back. Will Leeds be back in the second half? Phil Clark, there were signs towards half-time that Leeds were actually getting it together. Once that try had gone in, there were signs that Leeds are not done yet.
No, I think Bradford put everything, didn't they, into that first 30 minutes and looked very impressive. I thought it was interesting to look at the stats on offloads. Bradford 14, Leeds just 3. Now, that doesn't always mean that you're going to win the match. It's how effective you are when you offload the ball and what you do on the back of that possession. But it just showed you how dominant Bradford were in the first 30 minutes. You know, they say the key to a good joke is the timing. And I think the same is with the attacking rugby league. The timing of Bradford, every player coming onto the ball perfectly, and it just exposed a few gaps in the Leeds defence. That's tightened up a little bit. Bradford have dropped and Leeds have grown a little bit in confidence. So maybe the rest will do Bradford some good because they needed to find some energy again from somewhere.
Yeah, I just wonder if half-time's come at the wrong time for Leeds. They were getting back into the match, as we say. They will be happy to regroup, and Brian McLennan point 1 or 2 things out, and who knows.
Yeah, it's quite possible. Also, there are so many changes of players in a rugby league game. 12 are allowed in total. It's hard to keep track exactly of when Steve McNamara has his best players on the field and when he rotates and rests them. So it'll be again interesting whether he decides to put who he thinks his best players on now to start the second half, or does he hold them back a little bit to a time when he believes in the second half he needs that surge, that impetus of power from some of his front rowers like Lynch and Scruton.
It's a fantastic Easter programme we've got for you on Sky Sports. 5 games. This is the second of the 5 over 5 days. What a start.
Yeah, I mean, Steve McNamara must be very, very happy indeed with the way that they had the ability to switch the change of play. We mentioned earlier that if Orford starts to enjoy his rugby league football, then it's always a danger. But, you know, Leeds, they have to do one thing, and they have to settle things down. It was as though that every time they had possession, and they didn't have much of it in that first 40 minutes, especially until the last 10 minutes of that half. But what they have to do is to make sure that they don't panic. They looked as though they wanted to play the ball too quickly, blah, 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 came up with errors, knocked on 3 or 4 occasions, and they are allowing the Bulls to take control of the game. Only twice did Leeds, when they got the ball, did they get over the halfway line. You can't control a game like that. They were going to bring back, they said, Sinfield will change it, not if your forward don't work and get you over that halfway line.
Tell you what, you just saw Steve McNamara in the Bradford dressing room there. He's playing every ball, he's making every pass. He's getting his message across to his players, what he wants them to do in the second half. Well, it's going to be fascinating. The start of the next 40 minutes will decide who wins this match, I think. 16-6 to the Bulls, half-time. Bradford, as you see, about to get the second half underway here at Headingley. From 1996 to 2003, the Bulls defeated Leeds in 21 of 26 Super League meetings. In 19 since then, Leeds hold sway, 14 wins, 1 draw, but Bradford look in the mood tonight to change all that.
They certainly do, and Steve McNamara, their coach, has said, look, exactly the same, get right into their faces. They cannot allow the Rhinos to start taking control. They know they've got them in the forwards, and that's been the biggest problem for the Rhinos, and Brian McLennan, their coach, realises it. But it's no good having the quality of Maguire and Burrow when Kevin Sinfield's kicking game has to improve.
Lulawai to Badiris to Maguire, and the kick will turn Dave Halley around. And will the ball skip over the line? No, it won't, and it's a great chase. A great chase led by the Leeds halfback Rob Burrow and Badiris, the man who gave the ball to Maguire about 40-50 metres downfield. Here is Reardon, but he's halted by the Leeds Rhinos defenders, Jamie Jones-Buchanan and Luke Burgess.
Well, if Brian McLennan, the Leeds coach, gave his players a bit of a talking to at half-time, he couldn't have expected much better at a start to the second period. They've carried the ball strongly, people have run in support of the man with the ball, and then they've kicked it accurately and chased enthusiastically. It's a pretty positive start again. They've finished the first half in good fashion, and now they're starting the second one as the dominant team.
Coming to the last tackle, this opening set of 6 in possession for the Bradford Bulls. The kick from Michael Platt, straight up in the air, and Lee Smith's underneath it, down to the sideline. Rodstad's got Jamie Peacock with him.
Jamie, you spent the first half sat next to Brian McLennan. You've been in the changing room too. What's the coach's message to his players?
I think it's just saying we need to catch the ball. It's not rocket science really. We've dropped too much ball in the first half. We complete some shots and build some pressure this half. We'll go a long way for getting it. We only need 2 tries to get back in front.
Confidence can't be great after the results. Do the players and the coaching staff still believe Leeds can win this game?
Yeah, definitely. I think this club's been in this position numerous times before. We've been behind a lot. We were behind a lot last year in the second half and come away and won the game. We've just got to fall back on that belief now in this half.
Thanks for talking to us, Jamie.
No worries, Rob.
Jamie Peacock, who knows the heartbeat of both these teams. That's a great run from Jamie Jones-Buchanan, but Glenn Hall stripped the ball away from Danny Maguire. Bradford survive. The first try in this second half is absolutely vital.
Spot on there, Eddie, and I must say it was a wonderful effort by Glenn Hall. One-on-one, dragged it down. Maguire looked as though he was going in for the corner, but at least Leeds are looking to offload. They showed a lot more assurance of themselves. Too much knocking on in the first half.
But here come Bradford again. It's Glenn Hall. And this now is Heath Lestrange. Danny Badeiras couldn't touch him, he was offside. Carney takes it forward.
Quick thinking by Lestrange, and that's where they're putting Leeds on the back foot. They're coming out of the line.
It's a great little kick by Orford, and Halley is after this. But so too, oh no,
scored.
He could easily have scored.
It looks like Brent Webb has lost possession, but there was a lot of pushing and shoving. Now, if you're running in the same direction, they're all onside, are they? Yeah, that's fine. Now, if you're running in the same direction, you can use your shoulder charge, but in the build-up to this, Halley was all over with the winger, Ryan Hall, and then it was Webb. Didn't do anything with it. Did he get a hand to it? No, he's missed it. Oh, no, I think that's a knock-on. I don't think that there's real... Look at this. You can do that. They're both running in the same direction. But Halley pulls away from Hall and has the power to get to the fullback, Brent Webb, who misses it, loses it, it squirms. He tries to put it dead in goal. Watch this. Tries to get there. I think he misses it. He misses it. And I think Halley does too. I think he knocks on. I'm going to go for no try. But it just shows you the power and the pressure that the Bulls have put against the Rhinos tonight.
I think I'd give the benefit of the doubt to Dave Halley and give a try, but it's a tough call, a close call.
James Childs, the video referee tonight. What does he say? The try's denied.
So he's claiming he's been grounded by Brent Webb.
Out. He's ruled that Webb has grounded the ball
in goal.
I don't know where he saw that.
No, neither do I. Well, he loses it there. Watch this. If this is downward pressure by Webb, my hair will grow back tomorrow.
Well, that's the way James Childs saw it. He's the video referee. I think he's right. The try should have been disallowed, but it's just a method of restarting the game. Anyway, Bradford, they might be complaining that the try's not been awarded, but they won't be complaining because they're in possession here with Glenn Hall.
And again, they can apply that pressure, especially in the opening 20 minutes in the first half. They really did take control, and the forwards, the ability to get over the advantage line is allowing the likes of Sykes and Orford just to have a field day.
And Heath Lestrange is playing very well tonight as well at dummy half for the Bradford Bulls. This is Carney, that's the fourth tackle. Leeds all over it. Heath Lestrange again finds Orford. Here is Lynch. Lynch under pressure from Luluai. He's brought down on the last.
Nearly lost that.
They're right underneath the sticks here, Bradford. Lynch will go to the right and find Orford. Orford will stab the kick in, and that's too long.
The idea was there, but the man that was running for it went a bit too early and ran into a Leeds player, had to check himself. He knew exactly what was happening, but he went early, did the fullback, Brent Carney.
Luke Burgess. Of course, Luke Burgess in another year would have been playing against his brother Sam in Bradford's colours.
And there you saw the replay of Carney just running into the player, just overran it, knew that perhaps he would have been classified as offside.
Well, Luke Burgess had two brothers in the Bradford dressing room, Eddie, on the way up to the ranks as well, so in another year's time he might be doing.
Indeed so. Sam Burgess, from all accounts, doing pretty well in the NRL with South Sydney. Here is Rob Burrow. Kick was outside the 40-metre line, so Carney anyway can run the ball back because he didn't find touch with it. He gets as far as Lautiti, and Lautiti picked him up and dumped him on the deck with help from Danny Badiris.
And again, good work by the hooker Badiris. He really does work hard and is putting the tackles in.
Senior looking at the referee, waiting for him to shout, move. That's a little postscript to the World Club Challenge, isn't it? Melbourne did that, and so did Leeds, to be fair, in that game, which was controlled, of course, by Richard Silverwood, not by Phil Bentham. 4 tackles gone. Bradford still inside their own half. Hall will try and take them up to halfway on the last, which he does, just about. Lestrange is waiting again at dummy half. Back it comes to Sykes. Sykes with the kick over the top of Danny Maguire, but straight into the arms of Lee Smith. Doesn't find the ground, and Smith passes it inside to Brent Webb, and Webb in turn gets it wide to Ryan Hall. Ryan Hall, Super League's top try scorer last season, only got 4 so far this.
You know, Steve McNamara, that passage of defensive play, he would have been so proud of it. They kicked into the left-hand corner, and quite often some of the chasers, they take it easy on that other side of the field of play, and by the time they got there, every single Bradford player had moved up. Tremendous stuff.
Sinfield gets it away to Lautiti. Lautiti then showed it to Senior. Keeps going about 5 or 6 metres with players hanging on his shoulders and his back. It's Maguire trying to step inside Nick Scruton. Langley and Scruton combined to bring Maguire down. Last one for Leeds here. Now Sinfield, will it be high off the boot? It is. It's too deep though. Far too deep. Oh! Carney with the knock on!
That'll put the scrum down.
Oh, he got away with that, Kevin Sinfield, didn't he?
Did he ever?
It spiralled out of the lights, but dear me,
right
Carney should have taken that.
Yep, right down his throat. Good job that Dave Halley said, hey, don't touch it, don't touch it. I don't want to be offside.
I think it's harder than what it looks though, Eddie.
Oh, I'm sure it is, Phil.
You know, I mean, I think we take for granted at times the ability to catch a kick that's swirling in the wind and moving as it comes down from the heavens.
Yeah, and he's also having his first taste of the derby, isn't he, Brett Carney?
And not only that, he's not used to that position as much as he does in the stand-off position.
Well, here's a chance for the Rhinos. It's Maguire running it. Oh, Delaney!
Absolutely blown it.
On the first tackle, Brett Delaney. And the chance goes begging.
Nice to see an attack from a scrum though, a run around Steve-O. Just the timing was wrong from Delaney.
Yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with it.
Pass hits him, he can't take it in, he's looking at the defender.
He's frustrated, is Brian McLennan, because at this level, you know, this is not schoolboy stuff. You don't take your eyes off the football.
Some injury news coming in from Rod.
Just a little bit of problem for Bradford. Glenn Hall has come off, Eddie, complaining of a bit of a pain at the top of his neck and bottom of his head, so they're monitoring that. And just a word on Brett Carney, they did give him a check over at half-time. Remember, he was monstered just before the half-time siren. They just checked whether he had any problem with his head. He said he was fine. They let him back out there. And I wonder if that had a part to play in that drop catch from Kevin Sinfield's bomb.
Might have done. Michael Platt, meanwhile, is given the penalty for a throttle tackle, grapple tackle by Ali Lautiti.
And that's been, you know, it's so unlike the Rhinos that to give away silly penalties, valuable meters forward, they're just applying more pressure to themselves. They'll get frustrated as the game goes on. Bradford, they're playing percentage.
Don't know what the handling error count is at this moment in time, but Bradford have been pretty solid throughout. We saw that fumble, of course, by Brett Carney just a few moments ago. But the impression that you get from up here is that they've been pretty good tonight, Bradford. Here's Elliot Whitehead. Orford, great hands. And they come up with it as well, because Sykes was the man first to react. And he gives it to Langley. There's Lestrange. They go wide to Menzies. Oh, what a pass. Senior's dropped the ball. And Menzies was on the deck, and he's finished up with it, Steve Menzies.
Well, he had
6 to go.
He had the chance, Eddie, Senior, and snuffed it. Dropped it again. Far too many errors.
Scruton. Scruton plays the ball to Lestrange. He'll attack them. Here is Michael Platt. Good hit, but he gets the ball away. They recycle it with Whitehead.
Still a bit light on that right-hand side. They've gone the other, though.
with Orford. Sinfield and Burgess it was, combining to bring him down. Oh, it's a knock on by Jamie Jones-Buchanan. It's going to be 6 more from the scrum.
He took a huge gamble. Jones-Buchanan has come completely out of the line. You could see that Nick Scruton was absolutely going to. This is a beautiful offload by Menzies. Full credit to Leeds. They got back there in numbers. That's the opportunity for Keith Senior. And you never take your eye on the ball. You've got to keep at it all the time. This guy does.
But he was lying prone and he saw the ball bouncing and he said, I'll have that, I'll have it back. We'll have another set of 6.
It is he, sir.
And they're going to have another set of 6 here. Sykes still going. Down he goes.
He's had a big game as Paul Sykes. He just seems to relish playing in that standoff position.
Lestrange gets the ball from dummy half and gives it to Andy Lynch. And he goes down.
You talk about hard work as well, boy. Talk about a captain's knock. Andy Lynch has been superb as well.
Down the short side with Sykes and wide they go. And Ryan Hall, he was nearly beaten by Dave Halley. Halley just held up short of the line. Here they come again with Langley. He takes it back where all the heavy traffic is. Langley. His dad was a former Leeds player, Jamie Langley. Langley wearing the colours proudly of the Bulls as he plays it here to Lestrange. Now it's Carney. Oh, and he just delayed and he fooled everybody, but in the end he didn't fool Rob Burrow. And there's a right muzzle there. Bradford play on with Orford. Oh, Nero keeps hold of it. And Nero! Second try for Bradford. Crucial first score of the second half for Chris Nero and Bradford. It looked as though he dropped it. And somehow the fingers grew and kept around the ball. And I think Leeds stopped because they might have just believed that the fumble was coming. But Chris Nero the hero for Bradford. Second try of the night.
Talk about sticky fingers. Here you could see the second rower, Jamie Jones-Buchanan, get the knock on. He took a huge gamble from that position. But look how he takes this ball. He wasn't the best from Orford. He was going to ground. And what about the fend on the standoff, Danny Maguire? He said, get out of the way, but what a take. Mr. Superglue through the dummy. He's in. Super stuff. Second try for Mr. Nero. And talk about happiness for the scrum half, Matt Orford. That's the 3rd try tonight that he's created. It wasn't one of the best ever passes he'll ever produce, but Mr. Nero says, it's stuck to me so easy. What's up with you?
Eddie, I was just about to say, because it was the last tackle, that whichever team you support in this Super League, you have to admire what Leeds have just done, because I was going to say, that's almost 20 consecutive tackles on their own line. They've prevented their opponents from scoring. And on the very final play, just when the Rhinos fans thought that they'd survive, the crack comes. Great concentration by Bradford there, and whether that, well, he can't quite add the kick, but I think the Bulls needed, for their confidence. There's no lack of confidence or belief from the Rhinos, but the Bulls are still coming here in a fragile mindset.
Well, you can see there, Maguire is not up on the line. He's just a fraction behind. He's trying to hesitate. He went high. Nero, great upper body strength. Get out of the way. Try number 2 for me. Puts his tongue out and says, come on, try to beat us now.
4 tries to 1 to the Bradford Bulls. And this is Scruton. And just a reminder, if you're home late, the other match from the Engage Super League tonight postponed. The Knoll in Neath underwater, so Crusaders against Harlequins is off this evening. And that game will be played later in the season. It won't be played tomorrow or this weekend, because both of those have another important date, as do these two sides on Easter Monday. Be interesting, actually, just how much the Crusaders and Harlequins might just benefit from having this night off when they come to their next game on Monday.
Well, it's always a problem when you play 2 games in such a short period.
And the Crusaders, Steve, are at Bradford.
Yeah.
Interesting.
The mere fact that Mr. Noble's going back there, yeah. That alone makes it interesting. Boy, they've been eager, haven't they? And you're right, you know, Heath Lestrange, he's worked overtime, but not only in defence, but he's kept a very good service from the dummy half.
Just another word about Crusaders and Bradford. Celtic Crusaders, as they were then, got their first win last season at Bradford. Lautiti, spinning, gets the ball away to Jamie Jones-Buchanan.
Well, there's still plenty of time. OK, 20 points to 6 is pretty difficult to come back from, but they know they've got to start scoring soon, so they've got to test their arm somewhat. But everything that they've thrown at this Bradford defence, they've just gobbled up. They've said, come to daddy, nice and steady.
Here's Bailey, he's back out there. He plays it to Badiris. Langley, was he standing square? The referee seems to think he was.
Well, I don't think so, but either way, oh, look at that defence. You see how they're hanging back? They just say, come on, let's see what you can do. Leeds fans, they're booing.
Badiris wide to Burrow. Burrow inside to Brent Webb. Great ball to Badiris. Here is Senior. Wonderful Bradford defence. Fantastic Bradford defence, that. That was a try for all money.
Certainly was, and Brett Carney has come up with a football. Senior tried to offload it right at the last minute. Well, that was special player, wasn't it? You could see Badiris backing up on the inside, gave it to the big centre Senior, but they got back in numbers. Unbelievable stuff. He thought it was over.
Coaches sometimes ask the players, Eddie, to make an effort on an effort. Even when you've made the tackle, never give up, press until the end, and that's what they did there to deny Keith Senior. You know, Jimmy Peacock made reference to it in his interview with Rod. Leeds know that for the last couple of years, Eddie, they've been the strongest side in Super League in the final quarter. When it comes to that 20-minute period, they've known how to score more often than their opponents. So the confidence is still there, and the mind tells them, the memory bank says, we can keep going and score here. They've got 3-4 tries capable in them if they can play at this pace and intensity, and I think the left flank is the most dangerous.
Pressure on the kicker, Orford.
Yeah, well, Matt Orford looked at the official Phil Bentham and said, well, surely he played it, but you could see clearly that Rob Barrow turned his back, made no attempt, and that's the reason why it came back to that position. He's had a good night tonight, Phil Bentham.
Lautiti. Badiris waits again, finds Burrow. Burrow to Maguire, Maguire to Sinfield. Here is Delaney. Good hit.
They've stuffed him out all the time. It's been a great battle between him and Chris Nero, but there's one man coming up, transferred. Ooh, across the chest, across the chest.
Scruton really lined him up then. And Ambler, well, he got
he doesn't
close.
know where he is. He does not know where he is.
Delaney's kick. Oh, and Smith hacks it forward. Here goes Carney down the wing. And Carney goes inside Sinfield. Can't get away from Badiris.
Wonderful piece of rugby league. And that's silly. He's got to go in the bin for that, Badiris. That's a worst professional foul I've seen for a long time. Well, he should have known straight away. Look at this. I mean, that is just taking the mickey. And he has put his own side under even more pressure. They're down to 12 of the Rhinos. That's a big hit from Scruton.
Well, what's Luke Ambler's response here now, Eddie, having been sat on his backside? Has he got a counter-punch?
Well, he's involved in that with Jamie Jones-Buchanan on James Donaldson. Here goes Lynch for Bradford. He's just held up short. Another try here, and it would be very difficult for Leeds to come back, even though there's still a quarter of the match to go. Sykes goes for it. So close, Sykes. Held up by Bailey. Langley's the dummy half. Here is Lestrange. Now it's Orford. Back it comes to Carney. Carney stabs it to the in-goal area. And it's an important kick out by Smith, but they'll get another set of 6, Bradford.
It's all about controlling the game. And the kick from the fullback, Brett Carney, is outstanding. They really have run the show of the Bulls tonight. Paul Sykes and Matt Orford, they've combined superbly. And Brett Carney, he's taken and dropped into that fullback position with glee and with ease. And the man that's about to drop the ball from underneath the sticks, Kevin Sinfield, realises they've got to come up with something pretty quick. The clock is ticking away. We're looking to go into the final quarter.
Well, this is a performance that the Bradford Bull supporters can be proud of, and their attendances at Odsal have dropped off a little bit in the recent past, probably because of all the success they have had in the past.
Well, this should bring them back.
This really should bring them flocking back to Odsal, because this has been outstanding. Oh, put the muckers on them. That's Donaldson. He's put the ball down.
But look how quick they are to respond to come back. Even Donaldson didn't just look around and say, sorry, fellas. He got back quickly, got himself involved in the defence. He really has them fired up tonight, Steve McNamara.
Bambler takes it forward for Leeds.
Just say, Eddie, I don't know about you, but as far as I'm concerned, Andy Lynch has been outstanding. He's led by example. He has worked so hard.
Well, he has. He's been ably supported by Lestrange and Scruton. The forwards have done a great job. Menzies has been all class. Here is Sinfield. Fires it wide to Senior. Senior will take them on. Sykes is up to the task, though.
He's hurted Sykes. Got a knock on the head. He's down in back play.
Ryan Hall's crossfield kick finds Delaney. Back it comes to Lee Smith. That's a nice little chip over the top. Well read by Reardon, though.
Classy football from both sides. Smith, chip over. Reardon, read it perfectly.
Now Leeds looking for the mistake from Bradford. There haven't been many of those in their own quarter tonight. And Sykes receiving running repairs over on the far side.
They're going to keep him out there. He's very, very groggy at the moment.
And also, I think Bradford have both Scruton and Lynch off the field, Eddie. And this is the period here now with Kopchak trying to take it forward. Can they be effective without the two big guns on the pitch? That's a pretty good run from Kopchak, though. He's got them 10 metres. If they all do that, they'll be happy.
Lestrange to Langley. Langley is clawed to the ground on the last.
And again, he's got through some hard work. Big problems there. Badira's still in the sin bin.
Great kick from Orford. Brent Webb to run the ball back for the Rhinos, only as far as Platt.
Kick and chase game would be pleasing Steve McNamara. Their all-round game, their enthusiasm, they've out-muscled the Leeds outfit, they know that. That should be a penalty, messing around, should have got away.
Now Titi carrying that ball one-handed, oh, got away with it, finds Maguire, Smith is wide, and Lee Smith cuts inside, priced it well. Here's Delaney, Leeds coming forward, can they find a way through?
They're pretty light out on there on that left-hand side as Leeds attack.
They're going that way with Sinfield, now with Burrow. He'll attack the line. Great flick, wide it goes. Ryan Hall drops it. Oh, they've got away with it. Bradford are offside.
Quick tap, that's what they need.
Well, Ryan Hall was cursing, and then he looked up and saw the referee had given them a penalty. Here is Maguire, trying on his own.
Will Diskin, he doesn't normally go on his own. Will he just farm it out? He does.
To Ambler. Maguire just...
Well, no one's talking. He's saying who's taking control out here.
It's Burrow. Good ball. Kirk is not tackled. Now he is. Here's Burrow. Burrow to Diskin. Diskin gets it away to Bailey. Bailey wants to get on with it quickly. Langley was all over the top of him. And Brent Webb takes it back that way, gets it away again to Ian Kirk. The defence is solid as a rock for Bradford tonight.
Hold him up the top. Orford came in at the legs. Nowhere to go. It's got to be a good kick. Grubber, perhaps.
It's with Burrow. It's with Sinfield. Wide it comes to Maguire. There's the dab looking for Lee Smith's pace. And Reardon takes it over the dead ball line. Goal line dropout. Another set of 6 coming up for Leeds.
And that's what they needed. For once, the Rhinos have been a bit controlled. Stay in that position. Look at this. He's injured. He's saying, get on with it. We're still behind on the scoreboard. This is a tough game.
No sympathy even for your teammates at this level.
It's
barking
desperation.
instructions.
It's a derby. You're against the enemy.
Let's get news on Sykes from Rod.
Yeah, he's clearly got a knock, Eddie, as we saw out there, but the Bradford coaching staff have debated the issue long and hard and said they're going to let him try and run things off. But I tell you what, a smart bit of coaching by Brian McLennan as well, because when Danny Medeiros was sin-binned in amongst the chaos, he immediately sent Diskin on out there to make sure they had a hooker. And I tell you what, he's been heavily involved, hasn't he, in the last minute or two, Matt Diskin. Might be a turning point that works in Leeds' favour.
Remember, they are still down to 12 men, the Leeds Rhinos.
And you know, he's such a talented player, Matt Diskin. I just wish he'd ask a few more questions and run from dummy half a little bit more.
Maguire. Important tackle by Menzies. Here is Diskin. He's running this time. The ball's gone to ground. Offside again. Not standing square.
Quick tap. Now then, we saw a few moments ago Danny Maguire turning around, saying, "Hey, is anybody here calling the shots?"
Bailey on the charge. He's over the line, he's held up.
Good positioning by Phil Bentham.
I can see it right from here. Stood right here.
Bailey's asking him why you're not going to the screen, and that's the reason why. It's in Lestrange's hands. Diskin to Sinfield. Here is Webb to Delaney. The 12 men of Leeds strike back again. And all that pressure is told at last. But there's still a long way to go for Leeds to really get back into this match. But Delaney's try has given them hope. He missed last week. He got a Super League debut try against the Crusaders at Wrexham. He faced Bradford in Matt Diskin's testimonial match in January. He's just got his third try of the season.
2 consecutive penalties put them in this position. Bailey got very, very close. Lestrange underneath them.
Important kick for Sinfield. No good.
Oh, that could be a very costly miss indeed.
20 points to 10.
I don't think Bradford ever looked confident when they were lining up for the goal line dropout. They didn't seem a belief that they were going to hold out for the next 6 tackles, and Leeds come up with some sort of error. Sinfield does well, doesn't it? Playing straight is what people are talking about, so that the defenders can't slide off you and get the man outside with possession. And Leeds showed how effective running straight and then passing to support can be.
Well, Matt Delaney, 24 years of age, third try of the season. Is that a pivotal moment? Brett Delaney.
Well, it'll boost the confidence. They haven't had much over the past couple of weeks, Leeds, and I must say that one little try. Oh, that's a penalty.
It's stolen. Bailey's not happy. Taking it out on Steve Menzies. The penalty's given.
Well, that's 3 on the trot that the Rhinos have received. And Bradford paid the penalty. They've got to use a little bit of common sense. Well, I'm not so sure that that was intentional by Menzies.
Referee viewed it as it was. So here come the Leeds Rhinos again with Ian Kirk.
First, move, go.
Well, Steve McNamara's got to get the message out there and say, hey, come on, fellas, little bit of discipline. Get back to the official. Do not mess around at the play of the ball. Just applying the pressure and giving Leeds 40 or 50. Oh, what's that high? No, across the chest. Langley certainly got to him. That's going to be a penalty.
Leeds are back to 13 now. They've actually got 2 hookers on the field, Diskin and Badira, so they're going to be dangerous around that play of the ball area, and they're dangerous too when Keitini gets the possession.
And when Ryan Hall has it. That's the 4th tackle, though. Is Badira's out of the sin bin.
They're getting the momentum now, though, aren't they, the Rhinos?
Is it too late? 13 minutes to go, 12 minutes to go, actually. 10 points the difference.
Bradford cannot just expect to hang on.
Is that a knock-on by Bradford? Yes, it is, and it's head and feet to Leeds. Reardon couldn't take it in. And Leeds are desperate to get this game halted on the clock.
Well, it's deemed that Reardon's come up with a knock-on. He's looking confused. I must say, so am I. But, you know, Bradford, ever since Paul Sykes got that knock...
Came off Lee Smith, that. Bradford have been poorly done to.
They certainly have, but I'm just saying, it's amazing how things can change a game. Paul Sykes goes off and Leeds are running riot.
And here is Ryan Hall with strength, but just held down by Sykes. This is Maguire, there's Webb, here is Biggie and Kirk, cut down again.
You back your money that Burrow will have a shot.
Burrow, back it comes to Sinfield. He dubs the ball over the top. Reardon takes it cleanly.
Tremendous take with his back to the opposition. That is brave.
Now Bradford will try and work the ball away from their own line. That's James Donaldson, 18 years of age, fourth in a row off the bench. What a night to come into the match as a substitute. 20 points to 10, 11 minutes to go. Oh, loose pass. Menzies has it. He's lost his hat, but he's kept hold of the ball.
That's the most important. Steve McNamara knows he can buy him a new one. Keep hold of that football, the pill, that's all that counts. Hang on.
Last tackle, look where Bradford are. Oh, the kick is poor. It was touched, though. Play on, says the referee. Maguire has it. A fatal stumble.
Oh, this is going to go down to the wire. You just feel that Bradford are really struggling. They're tiring in defence. Leeds are keeping it alive.
This is Sinfield. Oh, it's an interception. Over the top looking for Hall. He found Halley.
Halley's just saw it as a gift. He did a big ribbon on it. Oh, that could be the deciding moment. Sinfield says we'll sing it out wide, and Halley said I'll take it.
Well, over the years, Eddie, Kevin Sinfield's decisions have won a lot of matches for Leeds, but the last two he's made haven't been good ones for them. He's kicked early in the tackle count and they've lost it near the Bradford line, and then he's thrown a pass that was intercepted. I suppose the reason why he has become a champion is his inner belief here. Even when he knows he makes a mistake, he won't retreat within his shell and stop to play. He'll continue to do the things that will help Leeds to perhaps win this match.
And he's been out for 4 weeks since the World Club Challenge. He's probably blowing for tugs at the moment as well. Fatigue must be taking it part. Hall, though, fields awful kicks downfield, bounces off the first challenge.
Well, will Steve McNamara bring on his captain, maybe just to lift the side?
Senior plays it quickly. Here goes Lee Smith again. Third tackle, they're on halfway, Rhinos. Badiris.
Good position by the fullback from Bradford, Brad Kearney. Kearney is not too deep. He's anticipating maybe the chip over the top. Probably will come as well.
Diskin gives it to Lauer-TT. Couldn't slip the pass to Burrow. Last tackle here for the Rhinos. Webb, up it goes off the boot. Oh, Reardon's dropped it again. Here's Sinfield. Couldn't get the ball away though. Donaldson was all over him.
Then a pack of nerves of the Bulls.
Badiris, Diskin, up the middle. That's the first tackle. The first one was the zero tackle. Badiris, Sinfield. Sinfield! The lead skipper spins away from trouble and touches down. And he will be in a hurry to get this conversion over if he can. The champions are battling back.
What a tremendous try.
A 360-degree turn.
Unbelievable. Take your partners. This is my waltz. This is my dance. Bird dance, any dance. It's got them back in there. It has totally confused everybody, especially the Bradford defence. Oh,
It was a dozy-do, Steve-O.
either that.
Sinfield, he adds the extras. 16-20. Hold on to your seats.
Well, you need your natural leaders on the field in situations like this. Kevin Sinfield's the leader so often for Leeds, but now Bradford have sent on here to see him spin through the defence and score. Andy Lynch coming back on for Bradford. Steve McNamara knows his side needs some character. They need somebody here to inspire and lead his side here to what would be a fantastic victory for Bradford if they can hang on or even score again.
Well, last year, in their championship year of 2009, we saw Leeds come back from the dead. They beat Wakefield, remember, on Sky, courtesy of Mr. Sinfield, and they beat Warrington here at Headingley in the last minute, courtesy of Mr. Sinfield. They never know when they're done.
No, they never fail, do they? They know it's blood and guts out there, and that really has been a fantastic game. Excitement right the way through it.
Well, Bradford came and picked Wigan's pocket, remember, a couple of 3 weeks ago. Are Leeds going to pick Bradford's pocket tonight? In the last 6 minutes. Oh, great offload, Brent Webb. What about that tackle? How important was that? And it was by Steve Menzies.
It was Steve Menzies, and he's lost
the
it.
ball.
It's a knock-on.
Well, what about Nick Scruton there, Eddie? You need a player to provide some added value. Nick Scruton had no right there to chase Danny Badeiras, but he catches him from behind. Here's the quick play of the ball from Webb. The ball's offloaded to him. Well, he eventually brings him down, Godwin, and he chases so hard here, Scruton, to spin him from behind, get it on the inside, and force the ball free.
And to be fair, Badeiras was losing possession. It wasn't as though it was knocked out.
Great effort from Scruton. Back
And what about
tonight.
the tackle from that fella, Menzies?
He only had 16 starts, Nick Scruton, in 77 appearances for Leeds. That's why he left them. This is his 50th start tonight for the Bradford Bulls. And such an important cog in this, well, at the moment, victory for Bradford, but will it stay that way? We've got 6 nail-biting minutes to go.
Well, Matt Alford has to take control here. He realises he's got to stand a lot deeper.
Oh, he's lost it!
Donaldson has lost possession,
dropped it.
and the crowd are going absolutely crackers underneath us here. It's a vital moment. Was it a fingertip in there? Either way, the kids are going, they're going mad. Donaldson can't believe it. All they had to do was just drive it downfield and leave it for the kicking of Matt Alford. He would have put it over the whitewash, that is for sure.
So scrum goes down, clock is held up, 74.5 minutes. Here is Brent Webb for the Rhinos. Thought about the pass to Senior, thought better of it. Maguire, Lauatiti, haunted. Solid tackle again. Now, Burrow. Scruton in there once more with Langley. Forward pack for Bradford's been immense.
Which of the Leeds players have got that extra bit of class? We saw it with Kevin Sinfield. Remember, he threw the dummy, he did the turnaround, quick step. Walsh, you call it, he scored the try.
Here he is again.
Nail biting.
He's found Maguire into the corner for Lee Smith. Lee Smith, he scores for the Rhinos. Second try on his comeback. The referee hasn't given it yet, but the picture we've just seen, I think, means that Lee Smith has levelled the scores.
He certainly has.
Well, they hoped he'd provide the X factor.
He's onside.
He's a mile onside.
Danny Maguire has put in the most wonderful kick into the corner, and look how it bounces. Nothing that Reardon could do about that. That is TRY time, and they're going to raise the roof here if Sinfield can kick this right from the corner.
Well, I don't know what went wrong for Lee Smith at London Wasps, but I tell you what, it's all come right for Lee Smith back at Headingley. His second try of the match on the green light of video referee James Child, and Kevin Sinfield now has a kick off the touchline to nudge Leeds ahead in the closing moments of this match. He's done it before, we mentioned it. He's done exactly this before.
This is the incident where the youngster James Donaldson loses possession, gets them the position. The kick from Maguire is superb. It bounces superbly. You can see that Reardon did not realise the danger until it was too late. Into the Leeds fan, cross them.
Sinfield for the lead. He's pushed it the other side of the post. 20 points apiece. What a game. Hasn't this set Easter up?
Has it ever? Unbelievable. Maguire says, where is he? He could see that Reardon had committed himself. Smith goes in, the two-try hero. Remember, he scored the vital try just before half-time when Bradford were completely running the show.
Now then, 3.5 to go. Who gets the drop goal attempt first? Or is there another sting in the tail? Bradford will look for the mistake down here. Lulawai drives it on. I tell you what, after the drama they've provided for us tonight, a draw is a fantastic result. Bradford won't think so. Bradford will not think so, the way that they have played, but you've got to credit the champions for coming off the canvas. Here is Maguire, halted by Orford. Badiras, Sinfield, wide they go to Lulawai, further wide to Lauatiti. Lauatiti! Ball is put down to who off?
I think it came off Senior.
Oh, Brian McLennan thinks it came off the Bradford man.
Lauatiti made the break, back on the inside. Senior screamed for it. Oh, I think it comes off the Bradford man as well.
Well, you can't be critical of the official there. It's a very hard decision here, and there's no evidence either way that he's made a mistake here. The offload from Lauatiti.
He has to reach for it.
I think he does. It's a knock-on from Keith Senior's right hand.
Yes, it is.
Certainly looks on that one. It'll be the drive downfield now.
Well, Leeds will now desperately defend their line. This is Brian McLennan's reaction. He thought it was the other way, but I think modern technology has shown him that the referee got it spot on. First call, and he has a split second to make the calls.
He has got now to bite his nails because Bradford will channel down the middle.
They don't have the punch Eddie to get within range for those first three plays. Scruton takes it up to 40.
Will drive it forward. Now then,
another two. That's what they'll go.
One more drive. That's a great run from Godwin. Well, they're in range here. Orford waits. Orford waits. Carney gets the ball away, and again, and it's a drop goal attempt. Was that Andy Lynch?
Short.
It was Andy Lynch.
He's had a tremendous game, but the pressure from the Leeds Rhinos, you've got to give them credit as well. It was a left-footed effort by the prop forward Andy Lynch. I've never seen him try one in his life. He tried it, and it just dropped short.
Now it's Leeds' turn to try and drive it upfield. Lauatiti to his feet. Here is Diskin. Now then, I just wonder...
Will they go early?
Well, Badiras with a good run. There's Burrow there, there's Sinfield there.
Badiras nearly trying to milk the penalty. Phil Bentham, the official, said, I'm not having any of it. Oh, what a great run there.
That's a fabulous run from Lulawai. Sinfield wants it. They're giving it to Burrow. Burrow, it's charged down. Here is Michael Platt. He's knocked on.
It's play on. He's play on.
Ryan Hall. Well, they've got 20 seconds. Another drop goal attempt, surely in a moment. Badiras went without it. Play on, does he say? Yes.
Yes. Platt is downfield.
This is the last chance.
He's got crowd.
This is the last chance. Back it comes to Sinfield. Wants to try and get the drop goal attempt away. I think they bottled it up. Oh, he's got rid of it to Badiras. And that's charged down and it's play on. Jamie Jones-Buchanan, that's play on. That's the end of the match. That is the end of the match. It has been an epic. And they're saying, Brent Webb, I think, is saying that Bradford were offside then. And they should have had a penalty, Leeds, under the sticks. What a game!
Amazing.
Oh, Orford is furious. He believes they've thrown it away. They've tossed a 20 points to 6 advantage away, start of this second half. But credit Leeds for their fighting spirit. The first Headingley draw between these two in Super League. The first Super League draw in 2010. And boy, hasn't this match set the Easter programme up. Hull KR and Hull, St Helens and Wigan follow that.
Unbelievable, Eddie. And you've got to give credit to this Leeds outfit, who they said was under a lot of pressure and they weren't playing well. They did in the second half.
They did in the second half. They pinched a point. There's the man of the match. He nearly got the drop goal for the Bulls. He's talking to Rod.
Andy, well done, man of the match. Extraordinary game. I don't think we've seen many endings like that. What on earth was going on at the end?
I don't know, I feel very disappointed there to come away with a draw, but we kept controlling that game like we did in the first half, and the first probably 20 minutes. Second half could have come away with 2 points, but we slipped away and the Leeds got back in there.
Do you feel now that you really should have won that game?
Oh, definitely. You know, we disappointed people in that changing room, so we worked real hard during the week, and the things came off today, and we ended up just a point apiece.
Was that you having a drop goal at the end?
I tried, yeah, I panicked a bit, but I don't think I got nowhere near.
What do you take out of the game, though, on the positive front? Because you've come here and really ought to have won and have dominated for probably 7/8 of the match.
So I think everyone knows the position where we show when we put set players on, and we all on the right lines. You know, we show what we can do scoring them tries, and we've got to do that for 80 minutes, not just the first 40 or 50 minutes. It's got to be from first minute to 80th minute.
Man of the match, so £100 to the charity of your choice, Andy. Where's that going?
Just a Bradford charity. That's right. Cheers.
Nice one, thank you, Andy. Let's bring Kevin Sinfield in. Kevin, that was some return to action for you after 4 weeks out. Can you explain to us what was going on at the end there? Because I don't think we've seen many endings in a Super League match quite like that.
Yeah, I think the game had everything, but we're disappointed. I know we got a point, Rod, but we're at home, and same errors keep costing us. We spilled too much ball, poor discipline, and you know, in the end we play well for 20 minutes, throw the ball about and have a crack, but it's too late by then.
I think it's fair to say that for an hour, as you've just hinted, that Leeds were poor on both sides of the ball. Why is that? Why is that happening?
I'm not sure. It's difficult to put your finger on concentration. Like I said, a bit of indiscipline. We don't know, but we know one thing: when we get going, you know, we're going to be difficult to beat and difficult to handle. But it's being able to tap into that earlier. It's too late with 20 to go.
Good to talk to you, Kev.
Cheers. Thank you.
Well, Kevin Sinfield came back and he took part in a classic. 20 points apiece. I mean, it's a fantastic game, but it's played like this. There's nothing better.
Absolutely wonderful. He had the chance. How many times has he done this, Kevin Sinfield? It just veered away to the right. That left it at 20 all. They were panicking all over the place. And look at this from Lynch. I've never seen him ever attempt one, and he probably won't be given the opportunity again by his coach, Steve McNamara. Oh, what a game.
That was a match, wasn't it? What a way to start Easter. I've no energy left for tomorrow. Can someone else do it?
Good rugby league, wasn't it? eight tries, drama all round. I just looked at the Bradford players at the end when the final hooter sounded. Several of them lying on the bodies on the floor. Yeah. I think totally drained and exhausted. Had they lost that game, I think it would have taken them months to recover, because they put such a huge effort into it. They needed to go away with something.
They will think it's a point lost.
I don't know. I don't know.
I think 26,
to play no, I don't know. I think they've done okay. Do you know, don't forget, they beat Leeds last year. This Monday, Thursday, they beat Leeds. Leeds played in the grand final and won it. Bradford didn't make the playoffs. So you can't attach too much significance to a local derby, and sometimes the underdog does, which Bradford was here today. But I just thought that there's enough signs in that first 30 minutes that Bradford themselves can be competitors. But I know, I've seen that many games of Leeds Rhinos, they're a decent side.
Oh, they are a decent side. For an hour, Bradford were near perfect. Steve McNamara will be pleased with the point, but will be annoyed with the point.
Oh, he'll be annoyed. You could see at the end, Matt Orford, you know, he just threw down all his bandages and said, I can't believe that we've thrown this game away. I think he's a little bit harsh on himself, because I thought they had a fine game. But there was a turning point, you know, about 15 minutes before the end of that game. They lost Paul Sykes. I thought Paul Sykes played exceptionally well. He got injured and they were down. It was about 3 or 4 minutes where he was receiving treatment. He didn't know where he was. And in that time, Leeds came back and scored a vital try. It was an unbelievable game.
It was unbelievable, exactly the right word to use, and more to come tomorrow. Look at the lineup. We've got the big city derby at 12:30. Hull Kingston Rovers against the Black and Whites of Hull. And that's followed by the last Saints Wigan Super League derby at Knowsley Road at 2:45. Sky Sports HD1 and Sky Sports 1. Join us for both of those, but I'll tell you something. In East Yorkshire and in that particular part of Lancashire. They have got something to follow after this thrilling night in West Yorkshire. 20 all, Leeds and Bradford. We'll see you tomorrow, Good Friday. Sleep well, gentlemen.